Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Matt with the DPI podcast. It's another Tuesday night, which means it's another live show. I am here. I'm waiting on Peter to jump on the Microsoft Teams over on the other screen or send me a text message that he's asleep and not going to be on again this week. But either way, we've got a ton of news to talk about, so let's go ahead and jump into it. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Enjoy. Hi, I'm Matt. Welcome to Disney Planning Insights. Through creative content and live shows, we explain the hidden details of the Disney experience so that our clients can execute memorable adventures. Together with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel, we have helped hundreds of clients plan, book, and prepare for magical Disney vacations. Let our experience help you avoid common planning mistakes and maximize the enjoyment on your next Disney trip. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Matt with the DPI podcast. Welcome live on YouTube, live on Twitch. If you have any comments, questions, anything like that, definitely hit them in the chat. I can see all the chats in real time, so if you send me something, I will respond to it. But yeah, we got a good show. Just got a text from Peter saying he is going to be on the show, so that is Peter with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. Our partner travel agent is going to be on the show tonight. We have got a ton when it comes to Disney to talk about. I mean, the big thing is going to be everything that was released last week with halfway to the holidays. We've got information for the parties at both parks. We've got information about what's going on with the cruise lines, a little bit more with what's going on with the Run Disney stuff. Ton of stuff coming on there. The other thing that we've got is we've got some information on Rogers the Musical, a little bit of stuff on the Moana Journey of Water, and just some other news and notes. If you've been on the show before, you kind of know how this goes. If you haven't, welcome. Definitely hit that subscribe button on either YouTube or Twitch. And if you're listening to this on the rebroadcast that we put up on Spotify, thank you for joining us over there as well. No, we've got a ton going on. I think right now, as far as what we're looking forward to with the podcast, is tomorrow we've got a new short series that we're going to start. I've been really working hard through DaVinci to try and figure out how can I do shorts in DaVinci and then upload them to YouTube via the phone. I think we've got that all figured out now. So we've got the first of the DPI Disney This or That shorts coming on tomorrow at 2. So if you are a fan of the YouTube channel, you can check that out. If you're not, we'll download it, put it up over on Instagram and on Twitter as well, so you guys can see that in those formats. Mr. Salvadori is milling around his computer right now, so we are getting close to getting him on. As soon as I get the thumbs up over there, we will get him on. We'll talk a little bit about his trip. He just got back. Little anniversary jaunt for him and his wife. And then we've got trips coming up as well. So no, it's going to be good show tonight, really good show tonight. So looks like he's about ready, so I'm going to go ahead and bring on Mr. Salvadori. Peter, how you doing?
Still recovering.
Still recovering. Good trip then.
Yeah, good trip, and the trip came right on the back end of finishing up the golf season. So I was telling Matt, for all of you out there, I was home last Tuesday at about 6:15. I was like, sweet, I'm going to sit down in my chair for a little bit and then go on the show at 7:15. And I woke up in my chair in my living room at 11 p.m. So that's that pretty much sums up, and then we literally got done with state and I was on a 6 a.m. flight headed for Orlando. So All good though. Really fun. Did some new things. Matt and I are going to talk about it, as well as some of my honest reviews of a couple of things going on down there. And yeah, it's going to be not a ton of news going on really.
We've got all that stuff that they released for halfway through the holidays. It came after the show last week, so we've got some details, dates, some pricing, that kind of stuff. Not a lot of new stuff, but
Yeah.
we actually know what's going on, so definitely get in the right direction there. So let's start with some of the new stuff that you did. One of the things that jumped out to me was your text message about the Epcot After Hours event. And I've really seen some mixed reaction when it comes to the After Hours event at Epcot. The first couple of them didn't seem to go as smoothly as people thought they would. So kind of give us your reaction to the After Hours event.
So my wife and I walked into the park at about 7:30. Was surprising her because our anniversary was Wednesday, but that was state. So part of this trip is my wife tagged along, and that way we could spend some time together for our anniversary. And so we walked in about 7:30 or so, kind of right in that time as, it was like 8 o'clock. We rode Soarin' and Living with the Land and just kind of did that stuff before the park closed. And then we actually watched the nighttime show Epcot Forever, but we watched it from that. It's not technically a bridge, but with the construction up right now, it almost feels like it. But we watched it from the path that, for those of you familiar with Epcot, between land and that central walkway that goes into World Showcase, there is that path where you've got construction barriers behind you, and then you're kind of looking out over some landscaping and a small pond. Monorail's kind of right above head right there. Yeah. And we watched Epcot Forever from right there, and that was really awesome. I forgot how good Epcot Forever is because it was so short-lived that everybody just kind of considered it a bridge. But, they launched a pretty good amount of shells out of Epcot Forever, and the storyline is kind of fun, throwing in a bunch of little IP and stuff like that. But I digress. And then, so now it's, 9:15, Epcot Forever is getting over, and we walked over to Guardians of the Galaxy, and now technically the party starts at 10 p.m., and so this is part of it, but then I'm going to explain more of it. We rode Guardians of the Galaxy twice in about 35 minutes because the party line hadn't really gotten established, and the end of park line was getting ran out, so we were able to pretty quickly go again. Came out of there, we got some free popcorn, soft drinks. I ate 4 Mickey bars and or sandwiches. So like all of that was really great. But then here's what I noticed. We got in line for Test Track, and it felt like a normal ride line, and the wait time was posted kind of normal wait time. And then after we got off at Test Track, we went back over to Guardians of the Galaxy, and the Guardians of the Galaxy queue was all the way through the show, like kind of the Wonders of Xandar area, and all the way back into the entrance atrium. And I realized, and I noticed it happening while we were on Test Track, because I actually saw them take 2 cars off of the track. And they did the same thing over at Guardians of the Galaxy. They removed trains from operation. So they fabricated lengthy lines, and it didn't seem like they did it to conserve manpower because the same number of cast members appeared to be there running the rides. They appeared to do it simply to suck up the party time with you queued up versus out and about, which I sent you that text right after we had ridden Guardians for the 3rd time, and it was all of like 10:30, and I was currently chowing down on not my first Mickey bar and about how amazing it was. But then by midnight, I was kind of disappointed, and this is probably where the mixed reviews come in. I was kind of disappointed that I could. Now, a non-discerning person who doesn't understand what Disney is and looks like wouldn't even notice. But I noticed that they were artificially creating lines by reducing ride capacity.
Yeah.
And that was a bit of a letdown versus just kind of letting people go crazy and really, really enjoy their, 120, 100, it's up to like the most expensive is like 150, the cheapest is like 120 for the cost of that event. Yeah, I was a little bit let down on what I realized Disney was very intentionally doing.
Yeah, and we didn't talk a whole lot after I got that text message, so it's kind of, I don't know if it's relieving to hear you say that, but no, it's one of those things that I really feel like we are getting a little swindled by the parks at times, and it's good to get like honest, commentary on what's actually going on, because you don't honestly know what's going on. And to eat your weight in Mickey bars and ice cream sandwiches, I mean,
yes,
you still have to get that value out of that ticket somehow.
Yeah. Now, for everybody to kind of hear that out loud, we rode. So Soarin' was during park operation hours, but we rode after park operating hours. We rode Guardians of the Galaxy 3 times, test track, had 3 or 4 sodas, like 5 or 6 bags of popcorn, 6 or so total Mickey bars or Mickey sandwiches, because I ate 1 Mickey bar and then I switched to the ice cream sandwiches because the Mickey bar attacked my shorts. Because a piece of chocolate fell on it, and then I got very bitter towards the Mickey bar. And then we rode Ratatouille, and my wife and I literally spent like from 9:15 to like 11:40 just bopping around right there over in that Future World area, and then we worked our way towards the back of the park. And what was nice was the pub in England stayed open all the way till 1 a.m. So that was kind of nice. In addition to the snack stands and carts, they kept the pub in England open so you could continue to get alcoholic beverages from arguably the best place in Epcot to get alcoholic beverages in the first place.
Uh-huh.
I will fight people over that. So,
I mean, if you're like a beer and cider guy, yeah, I mean.
Oh, they got a full bar. You can have whatever you want.
I put La Cava tequila up
there. Yeah. I was like, oh, the other people are going to be like, no, man, I need a Fiesta frozen margarita.
All right. You brought up Epcot Forever. Is it the show that you remember, or do you feel like it's changed a little bit?
So being from a distance, I could just kind of hear the audio and watch the fireworks, and it was pretty similar to what I recall from a few years ago. Nothing stuck out as noteworthy, although I will say I don't remember there being that many shells. The lake is the big tacos, and obviously the ring are gone, but there did appear to be a more substantial launching platform out there, and I don't know if that was for launching or it's the beginning of the construction of what they plan on doing next, because the next day we were in Epcot and there was like a full crane out there, and I can't imagine they need to bring a barge crane out to the middle of the lake to reload launch tubes.
No.
So no. I think they're building whatever's coming next kind of live out there in the middle of the lake versus what they did last time where they fabricated offsite, put it into the channel and brought it in. And that could be due to low water levels. When we were there in spring break, they talked about how they were currently refueling all of the boats that go from Disney Springs out to the Port Orleans and Saratoga and all that. They were having to fuel them using essentially a small fuel tanker because they couldn't get the boats up the channel to the gas depot because of how low the channels were. So
that's interesting to hear. What other new things did you do while you were down there?
Well, we did, we hadn't been to Yak and Yeti in a long time, and I forgot how amazing Yak and Yeti is. It is worth any and all hype to go there. So we hadn't been there in probably like 5 or 6 years. So we did that. It was amazing. I am going to make a much more dedicated effort to revisit Yak and Yeti almost every time that I go down there, because it is beyond worth it. And then in terms of new things, it was more just making sure that we kind of like saw everything with the Flower and Garden Festival, because we had kind of overlooked some stuff when we were down there in spring break. And then a whole bunch of, I had never really gotten into the Play Disney app, and so I went into that kind of full bore. So we did a little bit of DuckTales, did a little bit of bounty hunting, started collecting the golden statues, doing some of the trivia, earning some of the accolades, just kind of seeing what the Play Disney would bring to a regular day. That way, if I talk to my clients about being, like I've got some clients that, oh, I'm going to take your word for Epcot. I don't know if there's going to be enough stuff for my kids to do, that I'm ready to kind of explain to them, well, let me tell you about this Play Disney app. So it was just little stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of the restaurants. My wife had never been to Trader Sam's Grog Grotto over at Poly. That was nuts. We did that on Saturday. It opened at 3. We arrived at 1:45 to a line down the hallway and wrapped around down the next hallway. I sat off to the side. At around 1:55, 2 o'clock, they came out and started taking the names of everybody in that line. And so I got my name in what I felt like pretty quickly. By like 2:10, I had my name in. And at 5:10, 2 hours and 10 minutes after we put our name in, 2 hours and 10 minutes after the bar had opened, 3 hours after we put our name in, we got the text saying, come on in to Trader Sam's Grog Grotto. So Jesse and I have an idea. When we're there in September, we're going to go over there and put our names in right before we go to Narcoossee's. And then when we get done with Narcoossee's, come back down there for a nightcap at Trader Sam's. We're looking forward to that with you and Shannon.
Yes. Yes, it sounds like a good time.
Oh, it is. Oh, it's a lot of fun in there, but oh my goodness. We basically sat around Polynesian for 3 hours on Saturday, twiddling our thumbs. We broke into the DVC pool area so that we could sit in the shade over on the side and kind of put our feet into the calmer of the two pools over there. And Jesse took like an hour and 20-minute nap on a table. It was a good time. It was a good time.
Anything else from the trip you want to talk about?
No, going without. There's a big thing right now. I've been reading a lot about, fans trying to talk about the drinking around the world and how it's becoming a bigger problem and how fan behavior is just tilted. That fan behavior is going down and all that stuff. And, going with your kids is remarkable. But honestly, if you're kind of a fan of Disney and all you've done is family trips, you kind of owe it to yourself through the years to just maybe try and go down and see what it's like without. It's a completely different experience. It really, really is. And I love going with my kids, but I really also enjoy going just kind of on my own or with my wife or with some friends and stuff like that, because it just changes the things that you want to do and can do. Jesse and I only spent like 5 hours in Magic Kingdom. We spent most of our time in Hollywood Studios, hunting bounties and running around. That's a lot of fun. That bounty hunting thing on the Magic Band Plus is a good time. So yeah, all in all, pretty good, successful trip. Lots of exhaustion. I'm still walking around on a bum ankle, but all in all, really good. Looking forward to September for sure.
Yeah, I am too. All right, let me go ahead and let's get the news timer up, and
that's what I counted as part of the news.
We'll get
I don't know if we need 15 today.
Get this going. Yeah, I feel like we've got quite a bit of news, so I just want to make sure that we can touch on all of it. So the big thing is halfway to the holidays. We got all of the schedules and all that kind of stuff for all of the Christmas parties finally. Last week we had the worldwide ones, but we didn't have anything from local, so we didn't have Kingdom or we didn't have Disneyland. But no, it was very, very similar to what we thought it would be, except for Walt Disney World's going to get an all-new event. And it's going to be called Jollywood Nights over at Hollywood Studios. So they're giving themselves another ticketed event. So if you don't get or don't want to go to Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, you have this as an option as well. Hollywood Studios is kind of our favorite park during the holidays, and this is going to go on select nights from November 11th through December 20th, and the event is going to be from 8:30 p.m. to 12:30 a.m. At Hollywood Studios. You get a DJ, a lively Latin street fair, special guests at Theater of the Stars. They're doing a live Muppet Christmas show at Theater of the Stars. A jazz experience at the Hollywood Brown Derby. The Hollywood Tower Courtyard, the Hollywood Tower Hotel Courtyard is going to have that top of the tip-top lounge feel. Just a lot of things. Holiday magic shots, Mickey Mouse, Minnie Mouse, rest of Iconic Gang, and Animation Courtyard. Yeah, it's gonna be a really cool event. Also, you're gonna have special drinks, special eats, just like they do with all of their parties. So tickets go on sale June 29th. Ticket prices are going to range from $159 to $179 per person, depending on the date. And then Mickey's Very Merry Christmas Party, since we're there, I think they stole one of my pictures for the use of their blog here. 25 select nights, November 9th through December 22nd. Separate ticketed event welcomes guests to the most wonderful time of year at Magic Kingdom. We are looking at... Give me. I thought they had prices on here. I have dates.
Yeah, I have them.
$159 to $199 per person.
Yep. And yeah, they run from November 9th to December 22nd, so you can kind of expect 159 will be those November ones, and then they'll just slowly shift up to 199 as you get. And I would also expect probably like 189 to be the ones right around Thanksgiving. So like the 22nd and the 26th will probably be a bit elevated as well.
So they came out and said no dream lights this year, but a Frozen-inspired entertainment experience will illuminate the castle in a whole new way, which means they just have new projections for the castle. I mean, that's what I'm getting out of reading this. The Merry Menagerie of Winter Animals returns to Disney's Animal Kingdom. Candlelight Processional during Epcot International Festival of the Holidays, November 24th through December 30th. We'll get a list of those readers here probably I would say sometime in July. We'll get that. Disney Springs Christmas tree strolls coming back, and Santa Claus will make special appearances in all 4 parks, even at the Disney Water Park.
It is noteworthy for the party, though, that it will have a 6 o'clock virtual queue for Tron. So one of the greatest things about the Epcot After Hours is the fact that Guardians of the Galaxy just turned into a standby line, which was fantastic. It was awesome. But for these parties, so Not So Scary and Very Merry, it looks like they are going the route of 6 p.m. virtual queue for those attending the party, just for information purposes.
If you want to get some of that Galactic Star Cruiser merchandise, you can just go to Shop Disney now. They're getting rid of everything.
It's a fire sale.
That's what I put out there. I put from Madagascar, the Rico, give me the West Helsinki fire sale.
That is not even Disney.
I know. That's what makes it funny. Star Wars isn't even Disney anymore, but that's beside the point. 4 new hotel discounts that came out last week. I keep on saying this, and it's the part of the show where we're like, we told you so. We knew this was coming. But these ones are crazy. I mean, we're honestly getting hotel discounts the week of Christmas now. And big hotel discounts, save up to 40%, select most nights December 10th through December 25th. I mean, those are crazy deals. So they have one for just standard, go get a hotel, save up to 25%. Disney Visa card, DVC, and annual pass holder deals. Everybody's got a deal. Florida residents have deals. Everybody's got deals right now.
Yeah, and they're, like you mentioned, they're kind of all over the place and everywhere. Some of them are even really deep. I mean, if you stay at a deluxe resort, if you are a Disney Plus subscriber or a Disney Visa card holder, you can get 30 to 35% off. Annual pass holders are getting 35% off. They released this deal, and I was going down there on a room only this last weekend, and I could get Port Orleans Riverside on a different deal for $7 more a night than what I was paying on my old deal with annual pass holder, with my annual pass holder deal. That's just insane.
Yeah.
Say that out loud. That means Port Orleans was coming off at $205 a night to stay at Port Orleans Riverside on the 35% off deal. That's just crazy. And you go, well, why didn't you do that? Well, I didn't do that because I was within 30 days, so I would have forfeited my entire deposit. So I wasn't interested in doing that. Thank you for asking.
Walt Disney Company CFO stepping down from her role, Christine McCarthy. There is a lot
with Iger and Iger won.
Yeah, there is a lot of bad going on as far as cash flow with Disney right now. And heads are going to roll a little bit because Iger's only supposed to be there for a year. And the year is up really soon.
Yeah, and the funny thing is that there was just news today that some Netflix CEO is coming back to Disney Productions, whoever that was. Let me see if I can find it again. But, well, yeah, kind of what you're alluding to. There's a shakeup happening. And I am just saying, Bob, if you want to give me a call, I'm happy to talk about my role within the Disney executive planning. Happy to take over for you, bud.
Yeah. You could be an executive advisor for a few months and then...
Yeah, all I need is a signing bonus so that I can go and spend it all at Men's Warehouse. That's all I need.
There you
And
go.
then I'm in. You can train me up, and I promise to run the company the way Walt would have wanted, as opposed to the way all these money-grubbing jackasses are doing it.
Speaking of money grubbing, they're changing the lobby at Beach Club. This has been kind of... It's been in the works for a while. They're just kind of going around and doing their 7-year refurbs and that kind of stuff. But what's been coming out of these refurbs is very sterile, generic lobbies, and not the styles hotel to hotel that we're used to. So a lot of interest going into what's going to happen at Beach Club, and construction began on June the 19th. There is no completion date for that. Also, Grand Floridian lobby construction is going on, so just be aware of that if you're going to the Floridian anytime soon. They've been pulling up the tiles, they're redoing the carpet, a lot of things going on at the Floridian.
They're basically refurbing the boardwalk right now also. Like Trattoria El Forno, so this is interesting. So I booked one night at Boardwalk because otherwise my wife and I, after the late hours at Epcot, would have had to board a Skyliner or whatever other method of transportation. And so we stayed at Boardwalk for the night on Thursday night. And then Friday morning, I went down, and Trattoria El Forno is operating out of Flying Fish.
What?
Because Trattoria El Forno is completely getting renovated and cleaned. At least like the side to the left of kind of the kitchen area. But the kitchen area looked like it was getting worked on as well. So I think right now they are completely using Flying Fish as Trattoria El Forno. And then at night you can book a reservation to either or, and they're both kind of running it out of the same space.
Huh. That's interesting.
Is what it looked like. So, yeah. So the boardwalk is also kind of getting some refresh to it as well.
If you are a Run Disney person, the Princess Half Marathon weekend presented by Corksicle, registration opened this morning, which means that probably most of the major races are already sold out. The 5K sold out, the 10K sold out, the Half Marathon sold out, the Fairy Tale Challenge is sold out, Princess Yoga sold out. Only thing that's available is the virtual races. So, there you go. Everything is sold out.
Crazy.
Yep. Rogers the Musical. We have dates.
Yeah.
We have times. We know what's going to go on. So, Rogers the Musical is going to be filling the space at the Hyperion Theater out in Disneyland, California. And it is going to start on June the 30th, so about 10 days now. They are going to have... I am
likely going to Disneyland like August 1st.
And they are going to have shows Tuesday through Sunday, and there's going to be shows, I think it said like 10:30. Hold on a second. But they are going to use a virtual type queue, but you don't need to use the virtual queue. So they're gonna have a virtual queue that opens at 10 virtual queue opens at 10:30 for the first two shows of the day, and then at 2 p.m. for the remaining shows of the day. Joining the virtual queue is not required to view Rogers the Musical, but is highly recommended. If the virtual queue reaches capacity, you can check at the Hyperion Theater before Rogers the Musical begins for any walk-up viewing options. They're gonna have special food there, commemorative offerings and merch for the show, magic shot, and then I saw later on in the day that there was going to be a times 12:30, 2 p.m., 4 p.m., and 5:30, June 30th through August 31st, Tuesday through Saturday. Most weeks on its limited run. Times could always change. So, we have a lot of news there. Disney shared photos of its Imagineers testing Journey of Water inspired by Moana. That they're teaching the water how to play. So it looks like there's going to be like motion sensors in front of some of the fixtures to where you can make the water move with your hands, which sounds pretty cool. It's going to open up later this fall, probably Labor Day weekend. And then premium viewing experience for Rogers the Musical, $29. And you get a souvenir lanyard, and you get a chance to be sold out for the day, if that's something that you're looking forward to. But yeah, just tearing through the news, 20 seconds left. Anything else that you have, Peter, news-wise, newsworthy? Another strike at Disneyland Paris yesterday. Didn't seem to happen or affect near as much as the previous ones, but they're still making it a point to close off the castle for some point of the day. But Disney doesn't seem to be even thinking about doing any negotiations with them right now, so I feel like this is going to be something that kind of lingers on and on and on for a little while. So, yeah. But that's the news.
Time for the top 3, presented by Chewbacca.
Presented by Chewbacca now, huh? All right. I guess we'll do presented by Chewbacca. Here comes the top 3. Business trip.
Did the people move around?
It does tingle a little bit. Hey, what's going on, everybody? It is top 3 time. If you're new here, I'm Matt with the DPI podcast. Over on the other screen, that guy over there, I have to point it out that way, is Peter Salvadori with Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel. You can check out all of our social media accounts below us. Go over, like, subscribe, do all those fun things. It really helps out all of the channels. If you're new to top 3, what we do is we select a random category and we get like 20 seconds and we come up with our top 3 for that random category. If you have any motion sickness issues, Peter's camera is not the one to look at tonight, because apparently his tripod is not safe.
I forgot on my trip. Oh my god, I went to Fantasmic and the new show is remarkable. Okay, that's all.
If you're wondering where that came from, go watch the news section from earlier. So let's go ahead and let's get into the top 3. Let's pick out a chip. Let's go from there. Chip number 24. I feel like 24 has come up here recently, so it's probably going to be a relatively new category. Chip number 24 is... this is a very interesting one, because this happens quite a bit at Walt Disney World. The top 3 ways to spend a rainy day at the parks.
I have to be at the parks?
You can be wherever. Let's just say at Walt Disney World Resort.
Okay. Top 3 ways to spend a rainy day.
Top 3 ways to spend a rainy day. Let's go.
Planning your first trip and getting overwhelmed by all the details? Planning your next trip and just want some new suggestions on things you haven't tried? Contact me at Princesses and the Mouse Travel, and I'd love to work with you planning your next trip to the most magical place on earth.
You can contact Princesses and the Mouse Disney Travel on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel. All right. Top 3 ways to spend a rainy day. Do you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
Who are you typing to? What you doing? What you doing?
I am putting it up in the chat.
To see what viewers think.
Yes.
Sure. No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
All right.
I wrote down like 5 things real quick. So even if you steal mine, it's fine.
Yeah. So my number 1 is actually being in the parks.
Whoa, wait. It's number 3, sir.
My number 3. My first one. My number 3 is actually going to be able to spend it in the parks, especially Magic Kingdom, because Magic Kingdom runs a special parade on rainy days called the Rainy Day Parade. And it's a really cool parade where most of the cast members are in rain jackets, and they've got some unique vehicles, and the characters are all undercover. And you get this it's kind of a mix between one of the cavalcades and a full type parade feel. It's a little bit longer than a cavalcade, a little bit shorter than the full parades, but it gives you something cool in the parks that you can actually do and just hang out in Magic Kingdom. I mean, it's just one of those cool things that only happens when it rains. And, you know, a lot of people don't even think about, oh, let's just go stand outside and watch this, because it's the alternative if Festival of Fantasy can't go off that day, if it's raining too much. So my number 3 is going to be hang out at Walt Disney World, watch the rainy day parade. Peter, what's your number 3?
Have we, I recorded the rainy day cavalcade. Do we have that posted somewhere?
I don't know. I know I've got it recorded as well.
Yeah, something to look into. Anyway, so I am going to go with my number 3, and I'm going to make that something that I like to do is I preemptively kind of plan ahead for the rain. So, you know, especially right now during the summer, there's a very good chance that a pop-up thunderstorm will happen at some point in the day, but it normally happens between the hours of 1 and 4. And so one of the things that I like to do when I'm planning my Disney trips is I like to make a sit-down reservation somewhere around 1 or 2 p.m. and kind of watch the weather forecast as it rolls in. And if I have to be at my 2 o'clock dining reservation and just really drag it out and order another drink and say, yes, we want to do dessert, but give us about 10 minutes for the food to settle. You know, I have waited out many a storm by being at a sit-down restaurant and just kind of shuffling my feet and waiting it out a little bit. And that just comes with knowledge of the time of year that you're going. Like I said, especially now, very, very likely that you're going to get a middle-of-the-day thunderstorm. So if you have that pre-planned with some dining, that can be a great way to pass the thunderstorm, because they're typically short-lived, 45 minutes, maybe an hour and a half, a way to just grab food, sit down, take a load off, and then keep yourself relatively dry while you're doing it. So my number 3 thing to do is plan my dining around the storms.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. I mean, and that's one thing that when you reach out to an agent like Peter, he's really going to explain that really well on, hey, you know, you're going down there May, June, July, August. You're probably going to get these pop-up storms. Why don't you do that a little bit later?
Don't even mention September or October. Hurricanes.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's get into our number 2 here. Choice number 2. All right. So my number 2 is I like to kind of resort hop on the monorail. So, you know, you can go in, make a reservation at one of the monorail resorts for a breakfast or something, and then you can spend time just going from resort to resort and going into the unique shops that they have there, hitting up some of the unique cafes that they have there, and just checking out some of the different things that are going on in each of those resorts. You know, if you're there around the holidays, you've got the gingerbread house at the Grand Floridian, you've got the big Christmas tree at the Contemporary, the Polynesian always has some really cool decorations, so there's a lot of cool things that you can do around that monorail loop. And then even if you're not there around the holidays, you know, you've got basically 15 restaurants that you can make reservations at and just ride the monorail around and just hang out and just make your days there. So my number 2 is relatively simple, is just hang out at the monorail resorts and just resort hop for a little while. Peter, what are you going to for your number 2?
I am going to point out a very common fact. In every park, the vast majority of rides are either completely enclosed in a building or the queue system is completely enclosed in a building. And so one thing to do if you see something coming in and you know it's about to happen is oh, there's a 60-minute wait for a really good ride that's enclosed inside. Go jump in line for it, because the queue is likely undercover, the ride is indoors, and the next thing you know, I can't tell you how many indoor rides I've gotten in the line as the sky looked a little bit funky, gotten out, and the tarmac is completely wet, but I am still bone dry, because the little pop-up storm happened right well. I saw it coming and, again, worked ahead of it and went and did that. And so a lot of the things you do in Disney World, even if it's projected to rain all day long, even thunderstorm all day long, if you strategically move around, many of the rides and queues are indoors where you can kind of hop from place to place and still enjoy your day.
Yes, very much so. Always give yourself options on those rides. So, one of my favorites to do that with is Soarin'. You go into the land pavilion, you can do the movie that they've got in there.
Living with the Land, get lunch with the Seasons.
Yeah, you've got so much.
Yeah.
So much there that you can do, and you don't have to be one of those people that just hangs in there and just sits down and waits out the storm. Just find a place where you know that there's a bunch to do and just hang out there. So, no, using those ride queues is a huge thing. So, yeah. So, let's go ahead and let's get into our number one and a couple of things as we're getting into this number one. First off, if you've got any ideas for a top 3 segment, let us know. Either put it in the chat or go over to the website. It's down below us right now, patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. And up in that top right-hand corner, there is a little text box that you can enter your ideas, and they get emailed to us. And we make shows out of them, so it's pretty awesome. And then, Peter, where can people find you?
Right here at 7:15 most Tuesday nights. I'm right here. No, to find me on Facebook, just type in Princess and the Mouse Disney Travel. You'll see me standing there. I'm about to update the page this summer with a whole bunch of stuff. I also need to reach out to a bunch of clients and see if I can get some more client reviews on there, because I know when you look at the site, it looks like I've planned trips for like 8 people. But the fact of the matter is I have 8 clients here within the next few months. I plan tons and tons of trips for tons and tons of people. So I am happy to help you as well. So Matt and I were kind of talking about that, different business strategies a few weeks ago. And so I look forward to spending the rest of my summer trying to kind of increase a little bit with the site, Facebook, the Wix site, all of that stuff. Just trying to kind of increase the volume a little bit, doing some things differently in my personal life. Coming up here next school year, and I really want to fill that open time with more conversations with people like you, wanting to go to Disney, wanting to get some help, getting overwhelmed in the process, and getting a very experienced hand on the reservation and making sure that everything happens, answering the questions that you didn't even know you had. Yeah. Like, I had an hour-long conversation with a client last night, and I really try to wrap my head around who you and your family are, and then from there I use my vast knowledge. Again, I've eaten at every park, restaurant, including the quick services and all of the sit-downs. I will wrap my head around who you are as a group and get you the things that I know you'll enjoy versus pushing you into things that have big dollar signs.
Yeah. No, sounds good. Yeah, definitely over on Facebook at PATM Disney Travel. That's going to be the best place to reach out to Peter. So for my number one...
My new shirt.
my number one is... It can be a lot of different things. I'm trying to figure out a good way to narrow it down so it doesn't eat up everything. But
it's okay. You do it, because I have one that you don't have.
Okay, so it is explore an area that you've never gone to. There are so many different little displays and showcases and things that you just walk by and not even know what they are, like Walt Disney Presents at Hollywood Studios, Star Wars Launch Bay. You know, even inside each of the pavilions at Epcot, there are good, like, displays of local goods and local trends. And, you know, like in the China display, there's like the building of the Shanghai park, and there's all these really, really cool things that you just walk by on your way to a restaurant or to a ride, that when some of the stuff is just shut down, it's nice to just find some of these other places and just spend some time in them. You know, you can spend a day in Walt Disney Presents. That
There's
little,
so much to read in there.
yeah, that and it's like 2 hallways is all it is. But
plus
it is
some
just,
character meet and greets hiding in there.
yeah, there's just so much in there. And then the end display always kind of changes depending on what is the newest and biggest thing that's coming. They've had something about the Disney Wish. They had something about Galaxy's Edge. So they've always had some really cool, like, up-to-date displays as well. So my number one is find a place you've never been and go explore it.
Yeah, that is a really good one because, like you just said, there are tons of things, especially in Epcot World Showcase. It is so easy to hang out on the main thoroughfare, but to really go into the nation and fully dive into what's in there, you will see some really awesome things. You'll learn a lot of really awesome stuff. You'll see some cool things, and everything's got placards with information, backstory, history. It's really, really amazing. And you mentioned 2 really good places to do that, with Hollywood Studios and Epcot for sure. But that's available, you know, a little bit less at Animal Kingdom, but there are places in Magic Kingdom to find those kind of forgotten treasures as well, for sure. So my number one, I have several things still written here, including go back to the resorts and take a nap, sleep the day away. Like, I'm a big fan of that one. So I'm just thinking to when we were just down there, because there was a thunderstorm that we got back to the resort about 20 minutes before it started, took a nice nap. But I'm going to go with, for my number one, I am going to go with Embrace It. So I always love, like, all the people that, like, throw on all their rain gear and walk around with their own little umbrellas and like all of this stuff. And I had a blast the other night. It was Saturday night. So Saturday night around 6:30, it was clear a weather front was coming in. The lightning was still several hours out. The park closed at 9. And so it looked like it was just going to be lightly to heavily raining for the duration of the park being opened. They had already canceled Fantasmic because you can't have, you know, the performers up on the cliffs with lightning and all of that stuff. And so my wife and I had a choice. We had a choice to either hide under cover, which many people do. They'll go shopping, dining, some of the tips that Matt and I have given you here. We had that choice to just kind of hide away from it or just get out and go. And, you know, it was our last night. And so we chose to just get out and go. I bounty hunted probably 8 people while it was just lightly raining to heavily raining. I had promised my daughter we were going to FaceTime her to ride Slinky Dog Dash with us, and so we waited and rode Slinky Dog Dash with rain just pelting me in the face as I'm holding up a FaceTime call so my daughter could kind of ride it with us. But it was truly fun. It was just fun to just kind of let go, forget the rain gear, forget the fact that it's raining, and just go be a little kid again in a place that is just exuding magical memories. To just also just drop all the pretense of my life is miserable if I'm wet. I mean, I was drenched. I ended up having to pick a different pair of shoes for Sunday because by the time I got back to the resort, I mean, I was just drenched head to foot. But I had so much fun just kind of walking around, having a good time. Just not even like saying it, but without cold, it was rain. Like the rain doesn't bother me anyway. And just having a good time, just getting soaked. So I would say just embrace it, especially if you're down there with your kids. You think they're going to care getting wet? If you're having a good time getting wet, your kids are going to think it's like the greatest thing in the whole stinking world that mom and dad are jumping in puddles and just skipping to the next thing as it's downpouring. Like, just go have fun.
Yeah, no, that's a great one. Yeah, Shannon chimed in, enjoy the amenities at your resort that you normally wouldn't take time to use. A lot of the resorts offer drawing and crafts and movies and all kinds of different things, dance parties, that kind of stuff. Store hop at Disney Springs, put on a poncho, go to the park, and enjoy the shorter wait times. From Shannon, all good ones. No, there's again, you don't really get rained out. There'll be things that close. Most of your coasters will shut down if there's lightning in the area. Anything that's outdoors will shut down if there's lightning in the area. But I mean, past that, most things, like Peter said, either have a partially indoor queue or the whole thing's indoor. And most of your rides are indoors as well, so they're still.
They really are. If you talk, let's talk about Magic Kingdom real quick. If it is lightning out, the train, Barnstormer, Seven Dwarfs Mine Train, and the
Jungle Cruise.
Oh my God! It just skipped my mind. The Wildest Ride in the Wilderness, Big Thunder Mountain Railroad.
Yep.
Like. Everything else is open. And the Tomorrowland Speedway. Like, tons of stuff is still open, though. You can go ride Pirates. You can go ride Haunted Mansion. You can go ride Peter Pan, Small World.
Space Mountain, Carousel Progress.
Yeah, Monsters Inc. Laugh 4, Buzz Lightyear. I mean, there's some other things that are closed. Little Mermaid's open. But, yeah, like Dumbo, the Flying Carpets. I'm pretty sure they would close Jungle Cruise. But tons of stuff is still open. Like half the attractions are still open or more.
Yeah.
And that's the worst of the parks. Like,
and that's attractions. Then you got all the character meet and greets. So you've got both princess
those are all going to be open.
Tinkerbell, yep. Mickey Mouse, all that kind of stuff still open.
Tinkerbell's gone right now.
What?
I went to go to Tinkerbell because it was raining and we were in Magic Kingdom. So we were on the railroad and I am not kidding you. I saw the flash, and then a massive thunderclap happened like almost immediately. So this lightning bolt had to have struck like under a mile away from where we were. While we're on this train and it's downpouring, because I wanted to ride underneath Tron, just to see that leg of the railroad. So we got out. Everybody's running into the station. I went to the exit ramp because I knew that was under a glass cover. And we slowly worked our way through cover into the area where Tony's Town Square restaurant is, because we had to get an embroidered hat for a friend. So we're like, well, perfect. This rain is providing the opportunity to wait for embroidery.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, while we're here, why don't we just go meet Tinkerbell? Just Mickey. So I don't know if it was super gone or if it was just gone on that day, but it was gone on Saturday.
That is mildly disappointing. So
more than mildly, it made our top 3 list for best meet and greets.
Yes. So, all right. Well, that was top 3 things to do on a rainy day at Walt Disney World. If you guys do have any ideas, definitely hit us up on the website, patmdisneytravel.wixsite.com/planning. Or you can just put it in the comments of this video over on Twitch or on YouTube. So thank you guys all for joining us tonight.
Side note, I just went into the app and typed in Tinkerbell, and there is no Meet Tinkerbell listed as a attraction.
That is no good. I'm boycotting until the first weekend of September.
But on the side note, Tinkerbell's Fairy Garden over Epcot is awesome. There's like 8 to 10 different fairy houses around her topiary. It's in the UK pavilion right as you're going up the rise to the bridge to France. I kind of spent some time staring at that. That might be my favorite topiary. Let's do another top 3 right now. Favorite topiaries during Flower and Garden. Ready, go. What's your number 3?
I will replace the one we just did with that, because there are some fantastic topiaries during Flower and Garden. So, all right. Well, Peter, thanks for joining us tonight. I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. So, everybody else, thanks for checking us out, watching, listening, everything that you guys do. Have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you next Tuesday. Bye now. Peter with Princesses of the Mouse Disney Travel joined us tonight. He made me change my outro because he didn't like the way that I was phrasing it. You can check him out, PATM Disney Travel, at Facebook. Looking for us on social media, you can find us a lot of different places at DPI Podcast on Facebook, over on Twitter at Disney Insights, Instagram is at Princesses and the Mouse, and the YouTube channel is the Disney Planning Insights Podcast. Check us out at one of those, like, subscribe, do all those fun things. Thank you guys all for watching, listening, liking, sharing, subscribing, everything that you guys do. Have a wonderful week, and we will talk to you on the next